ahead, slow it down and make it no time. I gotta keep it rolling. Those windshield.
Welcome everybody to the Gig App Worker Rodeo Roundtable, where we have, of course, Kim's Side Money Plans. Everybody give a little love out to Kim. She's a little under the weather. So is my son. I think it's just everybody is a little bit. We got Mr. Tom Kelly on the far side. We got Michelle right beneath us. And we were trying to find a video for you guys. Maybe we'll find it before the episode is up. And then we got Cheyenne will be with us in just a few minutes. She had to take care of something. But after this ends tonight, you guys, go over to the Gig Geezer's channel. He's going to have a new podcast, and it's every week it's going to be different guests or whatever he's doing. But tonight's the first one, and he asked me to be on it. I'm going to be on it, and I want to promote that out because I'm interested. He has a lot of background with he was in Houston as a writer for like one of the bigger papers from 1975 to 82. He's done some podcasting. He's worked for other newspapers. He's a very good writer. But he does all that, last mile B2B stuff in a cargo van or his is a cargo, not a sprinter. Yeah. And every year he shows his way to six figures. Every year for the past 3 years, he has a good channel and he's shown how he gets to six figures exactly. And so this is going to be something different though. I don't have any idea what it's about. So come over and we'll find out together. I might be running from it. I don't know. But this is the first week. I was just thinking this is the first week in a while that we've had a no guest, no like major prep that I had to do or something was, if you guys caught last week, I thought it was awesome. It was a lot focused around Rideshare Professor. He's never been on here before. And I think he had a lot of good things to say. So if people are thinking, well, yeah, you didn't get around the table enough. Well, yeah, because we probably won't see him again for a while. It's tough to get him on things or just to get him to be able to lock down time. And I think he had a lot to say, and I think the timing was good. And I think all the pieces lately have, they've been great. We had Luis on and Sergio, and then we had the delivered guys on. But this is the first week just kind of back to normal, or just a normal week here for us. And Kim sent me an article that we are going to go through too. That I was looking at as well, because this leads to other things. But first, I did want to talk about this horrible story that I read, because that sounds fun, right? Horrible. Let's
good way to
let's go with the horrible. But it was from the 13th. When was the 13th? Like 4 days ago, right? Or yesterday? Yesterday. Okay, so here we go. This is regarding, obviously, Uber Teen. Just what did we expect? A 19-year-old man posing as an Uber driver. So here's how, already in the first half of a sentence, because there's a comma, at the first half of the sentence, we're already at posing as, and he's using a family member's account. I just want to make this very clear, because this happens all the time. People share their accounts with family members all the time. So it's not like this one guy was posing as a driver. This happens all the time. So it should just be in the norm. But a 19-year-old man posing as an Uber driver who reportedly said he was driving under a family member's account was arrested after allegedly raping a 15-year-old girl outside of a school. So here we go with Uber Teen. The ordeal happened on October 23rd. This is recent. After the teen's mother, she had ordered a Uber Teen rideshare to pick up her daughter from school. According to the victim, the sexual assault lasted several minutes after the man got in the back seat and overpowered her just outside of the south gate of her high school. He grabbed her from the neck, pinned her down to the seat, pulled down her pants, yada, yada. We know where this goes. Horrible things. The teen's mother added that she noticed the ride was taking longer than it normally does. It was past her drop-off time, and her daughter wasn't responding to calls or texts. Okay, so again, I want to highlight here, this is Uber's security feature that the parents can watch, but this actually goes into exactly what we've said. So what if you can watch? oh, this is taking a long time. Yeah, because things aren't going good.
Right.
You know what? Like, now what? Yeah, I'm calling her. I'm okay. Well, it's supposed to have this whole thing's supposed to have a safety button in there, like all calls, all hands on deck. Okay, so where's that? Like, did she hit that? She's a sophomore in high school. So yeah, I mean, the story goes on that we don't need to get into it. But again, here we go. And Cheyenne just joined us, so in case she missed it, we're talking about exactly what we've been talking about happening and what we had Torsten on with last week. A 19-year-old girl on October 23rd in LA, or a 19-year-old man posing as an Uber driver under his family member's account. So I'm sure this was a normal thing that he does this, but he raped a 15-year-old girl right outside of her school in the car.
This is exactly what I said last week. I'm like, yes, you can see where the person's going. You can see that it stopped, but that doesn't stop what's happening.
Right. No, and then so according to the mom, and we just said this too, but so she noticed it was taking longer than normal. She tried to call her. She wasn't responding to calls or texts. Where's the safety button? And first of all, the safety button wouldn't do anything anyway. The phone also could be thrown out the window like we discussed. But we just talked about this last week. Now, obviously, this happened. I wish we had known about this to just put it into last week's piece, because October 23rd is a little ways back. It's 3 weeks ago. But nonetheless, this is now hitting the news yesterday. And what the hell, everybody? I know they're trying to make it sound like, oh, the 19-year-old was using his family member's account. But let's go back to the problem there, because that's what I was saying too. This happens all the time. There's family members who share accounts all the time.
But I can say I'm a family. But I can say I'm a family member and not really be a family member. I just say I'm a family member.
Or you could be that. Who cares? Or you could be a family member. Who cares? Like, a lot of times these are like two cousins that just keep a car going 24 hours a day.
How did the situation end? Did she get out of the car? How did it end?
Yeah, after he held her down or whatever, it
was listed as a molestation, not a rape, and he was released on bail.
But see, like, he held her down. He raped her though. Like, what?
It was forcible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and it was. And
he claims it was consensual. She says it was not consensual. It's he said versus she said, and it's weird to me though that you hear part of the story, and it's like, it happened right there at the school.
Yep.
Just down, just down from the entrance, and yet the daughter said, "No, Mom, that's not the person." He stated he was using his brother's account, and she didn't know his name.
But it was somebody on the Uber platform, nonetheless. Let's at least get this part out.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
My confusion is that's a weird conversation to have if you're about to molest somebody.
What do you mean?
Why are they talking about whose account it is if he's going to molest her?
So this was a conversation that she had with her mom before the incident happened? Like, she was speaking to her mom?
After the incident happened,
right.
Mom said, I had license and the color of the car. I had a picture of him, and I asked my daughter, is this the person? The daughter said, no, Mom, that's not the person. He stated he was using his brother's account, and she didn't know his name. My confusion is, why would you have a conversation with somebody about whose account it is and then sexually molest them?
Most likely, and obviously we're assuming here, but maybe her mom did speak to her about who's supposed to be picking you up, like, because you could see it, right? Like in the app. So
right.
Maybe she saw that it's a different person, and she's like, hey, you're not my driver. And he's like, oh, it's my brother's account.
That's
like,
exactly
Uber,
what I was thinking.
Picture.
Because even the Uber Teen account's going to be extra careful and show you who the driver's supposed to be. Okay, It's supposed to be this person X. Hey, are you person X? No, I'm person Y. I'm his cousin or his brother.
Or the mom wanted to go nuclear on the driver and said, is this the person? So that way they can go to the cops and say, this is the person who did this to my daughter. And she was going nuclear on the person just looking at the picture. So
yeah, that's definitely most likely what happened there. But I mean, I think Tom's talking about the conversation with the driver and the daughter before it happened. Yes. And I'm assuming it's just that she saw in the app that he's not the person that was supposed to pick her up. And she's like, you're not this person. And he maybe said, well, oh yeah, it's my brother. And she's like, oh, okay, cool.
Okay, so stop right there.
Teenagers, right?
So she says, okay, cool. But now she knows who he is, and then he decides to molest her?
Well, how much does she know? Are you Paul? No, I'm Tim. Oh, okay. You still don't know anything.
Yeah, well...
My biggest part here is that, again, look, she wasn't 17, and again, it wouldn't make it okay. He's 19, she's 17. Nonetheless, it's in an Uber. None of this is okay. It's not okay for the two passengers in the back to hook up in an Uber. That's not allowed. But this is a 15-year-old girl.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where I don't really hear who the driver was. Just, is this him? Yes. Okay.
For the record, today, a 17-year-old girl tried to get into my car, and I wouldn't let her.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let anybody, no unaccompanied minors, period, in the story. It's not debatable. I'm not here to discuss it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
What's Uber saying about this?
Probably I mean, I was telling Tom before you guys got here, I was like, we were talking about this a little. I was thinking, already, the first sentence of this, a 19-year-old man posing as an Uber driver, comma, I'm not even through the first sentence, posing as an Uber driver. My thought is this guy probably does Uber full-time with his brother, and they have one car, and they both do it full-time. So he's not posing as one. He's been one for a long time, fakely with his brother, and which makes his brother just as accountable too, or whatever.
What happens? I mean, I'm not that I think this is right by any means whatsoever. It is wrong beyond all belief. But devil's advocate, what happens if it was an actual driver and the daughter was just running late because she was doing something on her own and lied to say, hey, I'm late because this driver did X, Y, and Z to me just to get out of being late and being in trouble with her mom? I feel like sometimes there's two sides to the story, but a lot of times there could be other sides to it as well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming this was a whole investigation, and she went to the hospital and all that kind of stuff. No.
No, he admits it happened. Okay, he said.
Okay, that's just stupid.
He admits that the two of them hooked up, but he says it was all consensual. Okay, he said, she said,
consensual with a 15-year-old.
Well, that's what the police said that even if it's consensual, that's still statutory rape.
Yeah, because she's not 18, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, I don't buy that. Plus, I just think it's rape.
But I just want to go back to Steve, what you said and what we've all said before with Uber Teen, is that no matter what, even though they have these safety features, it's not going to prevent something like this from happening. Just because you can track on your phone by a dot, this is where your daughter or son is, doesn't mean that they're safe in the vehicle that they are in just because you can track it on your phone.
Safety feature. That's like saying your front door of your house, if left unlocked, is still a safety feature.
I mean, Tom, you remember all the years of Driver Nation. You remember us talking about, remember the stupid things they'd come up with? When you get in the back seat of a rideshare, make sure the child safety lock isn't on the door before you shut it. Come on, dude. For real? These are the best answers a global multi-billion-dollar company comes up with.
Yeah. There you go. Where's the dash cam footage?
Well, I mean, the other thing is, what if they're still dissecting this? What if neither was what if he had an Uber account, but they haven't let to the press yet that he wasn't a legal driver? What if they're still sorting that out? I'm not just saying illegal in terms of to this country. I'm just saying wasn't vetted properly and got his account off Facebook, no matter who he is.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where it becomes a problem. I mean, it's like, hey, look at this story. Let's move on. Like, what do you mean let's move on? This is a big deal. Like, Uber should be shut down for a minute. Like, something big needs to. These wrist slaps do nothing. Like, shut them down in LA for a month while this is looked into. This one case. So, you know what? You're shut down for a month. We're looking into this.
Yeah.
You know, I remember the Say My Name campaign because of Samantha in University of South Carolina or North Carolina. You know, like, because her family had money, that became like this huge thing. Yet we knew of all these other drivers and riders who had been attacked in such more vicious, horrid ways. Not that any is better than the other, but they turned it into this just say my name. Okay, that's not an answer either. Because you can order an Uber for somebody else. I can order an Uber for my drunk passing out friend. It's up to the driver to say, I'm not taking them, but they still, I mean, like, I could be like, yeah, you're going to have to probably walk her up to the door. She's gone. Like, that's not something to say to a driver who's looking to do bad things.
Yep.
You know, I mean, Kim, you'll remember we had Larry and
I forgot about that. I was thinking about that as we were talking about it. I'm like, oh, that poor Uber driver that was involved in that.
I mean, that was Larry. Larry Duncan does rideshare in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Not the biggest town. He's very well known. He's lifting with Larry on Instagram, and he's married. Great guy. I've known Larry years. And he takes photographs with all these girls from Bowling Green all the time in the car. They all love him. They call him. They're like, Larry. But this one girl walked out and she's like, hey, you got to take my friend home. And she's passing out. And he literally looked at her and said, you idiot. He said, no. He goes, get in here. We'll take her back. You walk her up to the door and I'll bring you back here for free. But I'm not taking your drunk friend. And he goes, and shame on you for even allowing that. So, like,
that's not a friend.
I thought you were gonna,
that's how you handle it, rideshare drivers.
Yeah, I thought you were going to talk about the incident in Colorado with that one kid who was completely wasted, and thank God for Luis getting him back into the Uber.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that's too personal. That's like people we knew.
We didn't know him.
Oh, I thought no.
He wasn't any one of us. No, remember, he just came, like it was a random person. No.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of something else. We got a lot of thinking of something else going on.
Like now.
But speaking of that, I mean, this is crazy. Again, guys, more FTC, a lot more FTC, a lot more fines are coming. But this one's crazy because this one's from years ago. Kim sent it to me earlier this week. And I had just seen it that morning, and now I've been reading other pieces on it too. But this DoorDash agrees to pay $11.25 million settlement over tip misclassification in just Illinois. Okay. Now, I know this is coming in even Illinois, because we're going to talk about some dates. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, I'll just say this $11.25 million is from 1997 till September or October of 2019. So it's a 2-year span before the pandemic. There's a whole other one from the pandemic coming till now in Illinois. And then there's other ones coming in other states. And we already know Uber's been caught 3 times. This period we're talking about, Uber's been caught 3 times stealing tips. And every time it's the same old story. So here it is. It's a DoorDash. And you guys got to remember, like, we're all going to feel like this is right now. But you got to remember, go back to like pre-pandemic, and this is their thinking, and it's gonna make sense even to right now. DoorDash and the state have reached a tentative settlement over a claim food delivery platform DoorDash violated the Illinois Consumer Fraud and Deceptive Business Practice Act by telling customers tips would increase drivers' pay. I mean, that's what I thought tips did. So it's not kind of a no-brainer, right? But rather than doing that, however, tips were used to reduce the amount paid to drivers. according to the complaint by the Attorney General. Now, remember, they're paying this outright. They're not even fighting it or trying to whittle it down. They're just paying it. They're saying, yep, they just need a judge to sign off. They're like, we'll write the check. So they're very much, we know we did this. Same thing as what they got caught for in California, same time period, and they did the same thing. But rather than doing that, giving it to the drivers, however, tips were used to reduce the amount paid to drivers. So DoorDash encouraged customers to tip as much as possible, indicating that all of their tips would go to the workers. Instead of putting tips toward driver pay, DoorDash could get away with contributing as little as $1 to the worker pay and allow the tips to make up the rest. So this is what they were doing. They were taking all of the tips and they were making it so that every DoorDash order cost them $1. That's it. And that all of the rest of it was being like almost tip pooled in a percentage base out to the drivers who were supposed to get the increase. But we all know back in that era, it was still hidden to the point where it's like you really could get a lot more on a tip after the fact. So, okay, so literally they were doing this like tip as much as you can. It all goes to the drivers. Yeah, of course it should. That's what tips are. But the company says it believes its practices, and this is a quote, properly represented how Dashers were paid during this period. But it was pleased, again, still in the quote, but it was pleased to have resolved this years-old matter and look forward to continuing to offer a flexible way for millions of people to reach their financial goals. Now, the day that this was settled was the day the next one was filed. It's like 42 million for the same state. It's a little bit different, but it's about tip stealing. I mean, look, seriously. Everybody says we all say drop in the bucket all the time. Well, 11.25. That's a drop in the bucket. 11.25 for Illinois only from 97 to 99 when the volume wasn't even there.
Right.
And this only represents 79,000 drivers. So we always, I mean, Tom, even you've said this, and I think we all know this. A lot of times on these class actions, you really don't get anything, but 11.25 million split for 79,000 should actually be something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that should actually might be worth cashing that check. I don't know. I'm just saying. But I mean, this is kind of the same thing that like the conversation David and I had with the FTC. This is the same kind of stuff. Why can't you use third-party apps? I don't know. Why can't we? Are you asking me why we can't? I don't know. Gary's apps, people. Gary'sApps.com. You know, like, you should be using those. They're safety apps. The apps don't want to install them. You know, they want you to have to decide in 3 seconds. I see these states fighting about, oh, we're gonna lose the 60 seconds on getting an offer now. It's only gonna be 30 seconds. And I'm like, man, like rideshare from the beginning, but like even still now is like 3 seconds. Like
well, I've said so since the beginning, since I even started DoorDash, we as drivers just have to trust that DoorDash is giving us what customers are truly tipping us, because we don't know for sure, right? We only know what DoorDash is spitting out to us as drivers. Like, we don't know the truth behind what goes on from when the customer places the order, tips us, to it getting to us. Like,
unless you have that conversation with a customer.
You can, but we, like, as a driver, you wouldn't know that. So, but at the same time, the customer has to trust the DoorDash that the tips that they're putting in is going to the driver, but they don't know that either. So it's that middleman, which is DoorDash, that all these billions of people have to put trust in. And when you see stuff like this, does that trust really exist after something like this?
Right.
Definitely not.
No, definitely not. I mean, first of all, how is everybody going to feel in like a couple weeks when this story comes back and it's like DoorDash being fined $41 million in Illinois for tip stealing? It's going to be like, didn't you just pay $11.25 million like 2 weeks ago? I mean, it's going to become a point where people are going to go, wait a minute, this isn't chump change. You guys are stealing a lot of money.
Yeah.
And to Kim's point, like, who knows what they're doing behind the algorithm? This is what they're doing up front. Oh, sorry, we're not supposed to do that.
Well, if you think about it, and Tom, you're smarter at math than I am. You take $1 from every single driver, every single order over the past how many years, how many millions of dollars did they just pocket into the company by doing that?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, this is why I think everybody on this panel, we all love, and I know all of you guys watching, I know all of you love full transparency. I say it all the time. It's like a broken record, but I don't care that this is my broken record thing, is that show me complete transparency, take away an acceptance rate, and I don't care what you do with your app. If everything is just an offer and everything's a penny, I just won't do it. But no harm, no foul. That's cool. Like, I'm not going to do it. But if you want to, if that's the vision you have for your company and you're being transparent, go ahead, run yourself into the ground. Be my guest. You know, it won't work because that's what it is. But when you're, you know, I was yelling about this on the podcast this week. Like, why when we were talking to the DoorDash attorneys through the para attorney, why on earth were we finding out actual numbers of things? Because we were requesting certain things. So, okay, why were we finding out that, like, however many it was that they had for coding in the 2020 and the 2021 year when we had to deal with their lawyers? Why was it that out of their allocation of coders, 2/3 of them were literally put to the side to hide and deceive for the platform, and 1/3 were to upkeep it? Like, these were numbers we got to see. There wasn't, we didn't get to win anything. We knew that if had it gone much further, there was no win. It was just going to cost more and more and more and lose. But luckily, because of this and because of the way David handled this through the lawyer, we at least decided not to waste the opportunity to get a few things out of him. Well, that's one. That's a big one.
It's crazy.
That is a big one.
That's a huge one. So you've got,
is.
I mean, the app goes down sometimes. I mean, for the most part, I think all of us can say DoorDash. Again, you guys do it more than me, but it's it's usually up and running. It doesn't go down much. I mean, we've seen National go down or whatever occasionally, but it never lasts too long. You know what I mean? Like, it's a pretty, like, robust app.
My thing is with this is if they just gave out money there, first of all, in the article, they said that this is no admission of any wrongdoing on DoorDash's end, or it's no admission of guilt or something to that effect. Well, you just paid $11 million and you just paid off somebody. Hello, to me, that, in my opinion, that's just, you're guilty because you're just paying someone, you're paying them off, basically what it comes down to. But if they found this in Illinois, it is happening everywhere, not just the state of Illinois. Like, it's happening in every single state. So,
yeah. And that's what I was telling you guys about, David, in my conversation with the FTC. Listen, this was discussed. Like, these type things, like, you're going to see this. But when you see this, know that in batches, it's going to come out in every state, almost. So, like, let's call it 20. 20 states are going to do this same procedure. That's not a drop in the bucket. Like, too many people say drop in the bucket. These companies are not cash rich forever.
No.
I mean, I know that everybody thinks too big to fail. They've got all this money, but even Tom and I were talking about an article we probably won't get to tonight, but we were talking about, how does Uber have $841 million to put at Uber Freight right now? Like, they just did. They're like, oh, let's put it at Uber. Like, what? And Tom looked it up. What they have, $5 billion?
They got almost $6 billion in cash right now.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's a big chunk of your money. You put it at Uber Freight. Uber Freight is. We were actually making a joke because when we did the podcast that we used to do, Driver Nation, Tom had a story once where, I don't even remember, this was electric, but they were testing electric trucks, and all these investors or something were out at the scene, and they were coming out to see where their money was going to. And when they opened up the truck, there was no engine in it.
They were just
Like, it was all a lie.
Just real quick, Money Man, DoorDash should face criminal charges instead of merely facing a lawsuit.
And they will. I know that for a fact from the FTC conversation. They'll be facing, and the RICO case that's being built on Uber Eats will include DoorDash 100%, which is probably why Grubhub sold out this week for 650 million.
Grubhub's like, I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, they're like, we're better than them, but we're still gonna fall in that RICO crap. Like, that's just, and Grubhub was sold to a company who, when I had the Delivered guy on Wednesday, I did a live with Delivered again, guys. So there were some other answers and clearing ups that we did. But he was saying that I knew they went to a company, Wonder. I honestly, for a minute, thought Wonder Bread. I was like, isn't that Hostess? What's Wonder buying? Why does Wonder want? And he's like, no, Wonder is a company that competes with, is it Just Eat takeaway in Europe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that owns DoorDash and stuff. So he was saying, no, they compete with them over there pretty heavily. So,
wait, so we're getting a company that doesn't really know how to operate in the United States? Is that what's happening?
Well, we already had one, Grubhub.
Well, yeah,
even under Amazon,
like
they couldn't make any money. Well, no, I think the thought is let's buy the Grubhub database, which is the United States.
Yeah.
Let's own it and just start getting our footprint in a little more. So I don't know. I thought it was very strange. And by the way, before I move on, for those of you that have stuck with us and are here right now and do Delivered, I'm gonna give you one hint of something that came out of the interview Wednesday. And it's something good that all you should know. You know how we're supposed to go in, and every time we get an offer, we get it for 5 minutes, right? It comes into your phone. It's yours for 5 minutes. You look at it. You can open it. You're not in a rush. You can look through it. You can think about it. Does this make sense with my day tomorrow or today or whatever it's for? Do I want this? All the details are there. But we were told you got to accept or you got to decline it. You have to. Otherwise, it affects your performance score that gets you to Emerald. We actually fully dismissed that because on the first interview that Kim and I did with them, and Gigwise, we talked about it, and they actually went and kind of reconfirmed and remolded it to be the fact that it doesn't affect your delivered score that they look at all. All it does now is if you miss 3 in a row, like if 3 in a row timeout that come to you in a day, you won't see any more that day. But there's no harm, no foul. You will be put back in the queue at midnight for the next day. And there's no scar on your. I was like, so if I just don't get 3 in a row, he goes, you won't see any more that day. But he even said that you'll be able to claim from open board. You'll be able to do that kind of stuff. He goes, but you won't get any more offers that day. So I thought, okay, I mean, at least that's better than thinking, oh, you got to like pull over and like hit the brakes if you're on the highway and like figure out how to accept or decline or try and drive and do it and whatever you might be doing. Like, it's not do or die. It's not going to kill your chances. Although we also discussed it's very slim that you can become Emerald if you're not.
Okay, so just real quick, I'm looking at Tom's message that he just put out to everybody.
This one?
Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to break this down even further. So the periods of time. So even say 10% of the orders during that of this number, when you really break it down, was just $1. That's still like billions of dollars.
No, it's 8 billion total. So
yeah, it's 8.
Right.
880.
But that's total number of orders, though.
Right, but I'm saying even 10% of the orders. During
right. So
time,
maybe Kim is right, because who knows how much they're taking off each of those 8 million.
Right,
orders.
that's my point. Like, we're talking like millions to billions of dollars that they're pocketing off of drivers and putting it into their company, opposed to paying their drivers fairly, but yet we get deducted on our base pay to $2 base pay.
Well, they just do that so that they can claim that they're paying drivers. And it's funny how they're telling you should make sure to tip your drivers. Really? Because we know of cities where you don't do that. Like in Seattle, you've now removed it and you've made it so the delivery has to be finished and complete before the tip can go in.
Well, what's interesting too about this stat is out of that 8,849,000,000, Michelle did a little over 1 billion of those. So I mean, it just shows you how
Michelle and her groups did.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I to me, this is just crazy because this is, when Kim first sent it to me, I had already seen the article, but I hadn't read it yet. I had seen it. She sent it to me, and then I'm sitting there reading it on my phone, which normally I don't do, but I wait till I get home. So I'm reading it on my phone, and I see the dates, and I'm like, oh my god, this is what, 6 years ago is the last date included on this?
Right.
Like,
Right.
Think of all the evil things they've done since.
I can't tell you how many times that article that has been submitted in the big groups over and over again. People, yeah.
No, it is. It's,
yeah.
Oh, I missed something.
I have to go. I just wanted to. May I share one thing?
Yeah, please do. I just saw the private chat thing, and I was like, I guess I missed something. But yeah, share what you please.
So I know you always ask me what's so big. Okay, nothing is bigger this week, and we deviated. Nobody cared because in my mission in the group, I say, we talk about gig economy. Most of our drivers do multi-app if it's available to them, and of course, I mean, I don't know, what do they do at Uber and DoorDash? Do they have little focus groups and they sit around and say, what different program can we come out with now? And this week, Uber comes out with, would you like to pick up Christmas trees? And I sent them the whole 9 yards, about 4 to 7 foot Christmas tree, live Christmas tree that they would pick up and put on top of their car. And it could be 50 pounds and deliver it. Basically, I put it up on the page. Got within an hour, I had 100 reactions to it, and it was hell, no, and no. One person said they might consider it, but
does it come with a Santa hat to wear? Right,
Santa hat. How much would I be paid? Would it be a third floor apartment building? I'm 60 years old.
Can you imagine? No.
Is it going to affect my AR if I don't do it? Of course, but in Uber, it said it would be an opt-in or, opt-in if you wanted to do it. But, I mean, is there any limits now to what they'll ask us to possibly do? And that's a big deal. Delivering a Christmas tree is a huge deal.
huge.
So now I can.
See me trying to drag up a Christmas tree up 3 flights of stairs, crashing down and trying to drag it up.
While we still have Michelle here, though, I need to say this because I'm not 100% sure they haven't done this before. I'm just saying maybe it was through Connect or something else. I don't know, but I feel like Christmas trees have come around with that talk before. But just realize, I could make an order now, like a Bud Soda triple stack. That I want a mattress from Mattress Firm. I want a Christmas tree. And as soon as they get close to the house, go, you know what? I want to add Chinese to it too.
Yeah.
So go get me some Chinese food too.
Or how about your Costco water? 12 packs of 40.
So you can water your tree.
Our 50-pound bags of dog food along with that. Let's do it all.
Has anybody in the chat, not only has anybody or you, Michelle, before you leave, have you even seen a Mattress Firm offer?
No, but I did talk to the Mattress Firm manager who said, I think I mentioned that before on here, but it's worth mentioning again, that they're small little packs that they've compartmentalized. They're still heavy, but they're small. So
Great.
It's that. No, I haven't seen it. We have
That's
lots-
the biggest thing. I don't think there's one out there. I don't think anybody said, you know what, I'm getting Chick-fil-A. I might as well get a mattress too.
Yeah, it's an expensive item. But
Let's do this right now. Let's ask everybody in the chat, yes or no. Would you deliver a Christmas tree? Mine is a hard no. I have a brand new car, and there's no way any of those needles are getting in or out of it.
that was
I
said.
wouldn't.
Needle, sap, little critters that live in there. No.
Well, I mean, what am I being paid? Because I put it on the roof. So
Nobody knows. One person did say, now it's the internet, and sometimes he said that he did do one, and it was a $5. It was $5, and the tree fell off.
First of all, if you're so lazy, if you're so lazy that you need to get your Christmas tree delivered by Uber or DoorDash, just get a fake tree, people. And I love real trees, but just get a fake tree. I mean, this is just sad.
But it's the convenience thing. And hey,
what happens if the tree gets delivered and it's like a Charlie Brown Christmas tree, and the customer blames the driver for the crappy?
That was mentioned.
Yeah, that's not what I wanted. I wanted a. That's not what I wanted.
You brought me a Douglas fir, but I wanted a Fraser fir.
Yeah, and dude, what's this? One of the sides is horrible. Just put it to the back wall. Like, you shouldn't have to be explaining anything to anybody.
No.
Yeah, but my thoughts are, as I said at the beginning of just talking about this, is do they just sit around and dream of more things that they, and I know Tony did a video, and he said in that video that he it's food was just the beginning, that he envisioned having lots of different partners and doing lots of different
mattresses that don't sell,
yes.
trees that don't get delivered. And by the way, if any of you do the tree thing, make sure to stick a squirrel in it right before you get to the door and make it like Christmas vacation for the people.
Yes. But as much as our people like to earn money, they said not doing it, and it didn't matter what. No way, no how. So it'll be interesting to see who does opt in for this new venture.
I mean, what if somebody puts like a spy cam in the tree?
Oh,
We never know.
Now you're getting a little too far out there, really.
It's getting dark now.
You would never know.
I'm thinking Santa hats, ugly sweaters. You're thinking cameras.
thanks for having me. I do have
Hey,
a
of
personal
course. Michelle, thank you for joining us as always.
Thank you.
Bye, Michelle.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. By the way, Steve, I just saw in a DoorDash Facebook group, but for Canada, that you guys' little rewards program thing is coming here now.
Oh, good luck. Have fun.
What is the rewards program? I don't order
Well,
DoorDash.
silver, platinum thing.
Oh,
Well,
the
rewards
tiers?
program is fun.
Is that tiers, Kim?
Yeah, the
Which
tiers.
one's this one called? Okay.
It's coming
It's the
over here
rewards
now.
program. Good luck. Have fun.
No, I wasn't late, Cody. I'm going through these now. What's up, Bubba Sue? What's up, Cody? Too? I wasn't trying to
48 minutes in, you're going through the chat.
Yeah, I am. I mean, look, we've had some rough episodes, guys. Hey, Thomas, how are you? We got there's too many Thomases. We got Tom on the panel. We got Thomas Mathis. We got Charles Thomas. What do you? Two of you guys need to change your name.
I had
Becky.
mine first.
Hopefully, I'm getting everybody here. What's up, Tommy? How are you? Eric Berry, how are you? Yeah. I don't think anybody should be delivering these trees, by the way, guys. Just my personal opinion.
No
Unless,
liability.
again, if somebody has a good example of our trees aren't even set up, I don't think yet. Like, you can't go find trees yet. So I don't know, but I'd be interested to see what they pay you. It's still not something I would want to go out and do, but if I was working DoorDash and every offer was $1 with no tip, or there was trees for $40, I would do the trees. And for those that have pickups, definitely would do the trees kind of thing.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think it's going to be a high paying thing. I think it's going to be very horrible paying.
Watch how
Actually.
many are not going to have any tips associated with it.
Exactly.
Purchaser renter. Yeah, I would even. Wow, that's a lot. I would even actually say more though, potentially. If you guys know Van, I always forget his handle. Something easy. DoorDash. What is it? DoorDash.
I feel like he keeps changing it and I never know what
Yeah.
it
I
is.
feel like it's just simply DoorDash delivery or something. Or delivers. It's something easy like that. But if you guys know Van, he just put out a video on my market. Van lives here. Van and I know each other very well. And he put out a video about, he's like, I only do Uber Eats here in town because you can't make even $1 because of all the illegal accounts here in this town on DoorDash. So DoorDash is much
Really?
easier to entry here in our market anyway, in Denver. I can't speak for other markets, but here it's much easier to run an illegal account on DoorDash.
I'm assuming every market would be like that, though. It's not like if they have you check your face or anything like that.
Yeah, but even Uber's is just a flat face check. And when I have the guy on from Incognia who does the security software for Uber, for DoorDash, for these companies, he was saying like, well, like Instacart where it has you turn, he goes, that's a little better. He goes, the flat face of Uber, that's worthless. And he said, and then he told me what they're really looking to do in the interview was, he said, what we really want to do is just make sure it's your phone. We're looking to have device verification.
Interesting.
Yeah, like, I mean, basically, if you guys are like, well, I don't want that on my phone, like, even if somebody like Gary was in here right now or something, he could tell you that if he searched Incognia is the name of the company, they're in half of the phones in the world. So, but if he searched the code on anybody that uses gig apps, it's in your phone already. So,
Well, yeah, I did a video, was it last week, a week ago, that there are some areas testing social security number verification.
What?
I did see something about that. I didn't watch the video though. What is it now? You got
There are
to,
some areas in the United States that are
that if I
testing.
want to go online, are going to make me type it in.
They're going to ask you for your full legal name and your full social security number in order to verify yourself on DoorDash to start working. And you can't bypass it. You have to do it in order to work the DoorDash app.
Wow.
Check my share.
What?
I'm like, well, clearly you didn't. Clearly you didn't watch my video.
I don't have a red car.
I'm starting in front of it for you, buddy, because I know you're going to want to do this.
Dude, I would tie that. You know what? Everybody's car would be tied down like a dead deer on the front of my hood. I wouldn't do it the normal way. I'd have that thing wrapped and kind of wrecked. I'd get it to you, it'd be destroyed. Mud on it. I'd drag it through the sludge.
That's too funny. Oh, Kim, I had a question for you actually about Instacart. So I had an order on the weekend because obviously I'm not going to ask Steve. I had an order on the weekend,
Awesome.
and there was like a cat litter in it for like 50 pounds. I didn't even notice that it didn't say heavy pay. And then at the end, you know, when they tell you like, oh, this order didn't qualify for heavy pay. Here are all the items that don't qualify for heavy pay. Well, wait, you look confused. You don't have that?
No, I'm listening to the heavy pay. I'm confused on why you didn't get heavy pay.
Exactly, for a 50-pound box of cat litter. So then I contacted them, and just in case anybody ever goes through this situation, the first guy was completely useless. He's like, oh, I can't add it myself. The system won't allow it. And they actually tell you in the help section that no one can add it. So I'm like, whatever, I need a supervisor. Spoke to the supervisor, and they're like, yeah, that's unfortunate that you're going through that. And they gave $2. $2. That's it. So now I'm wondering, because you remember back in the day, they were saying, oh, if you contact Instacart for heavy pay, your account might get flagged and you can potentially get deactivated. I'm wondering if this is their way to say, you know what, no more like pay bumps, or, you know, when they used to give us like $10 when they did something wrong. And now they're just like, okay, $2 after you speak to a supervisor.
It wouldn't surprise me because I think a lot of these, not just Instacart, I think a lot of these companies are doing away with all their extras. Like Uber Eats did away with the $3 pay if your order is canceled or stuff like that. Like that's done. I forget what I did on DoorDash the other day, and I'm like, oh, they canceled the order, and I was like actually at the restaurant, and there was nothing. Like there was no pay whatsoever there either. So I feel like a lot of these companies are cutting back on stuff that they used to give drivers, even though we're in the right.
That's crazy. I just couldn't believe it. I was like 50-pound box of cat litter. How is there no heavy pay? And then they just gave $2.
So I need to hit this one up. So if you're being serious, Eric, I don't know if you're in Illinois. If you are, actually, that's a good question. I don't know what, but I guarantee you they're not going to come knocking down your door. Like even the company that's collecting the money gets to keep it after a certain point. So we should figure out for all of you how we do this. Because if you do live in Illinois, and probably soon other states, but I'm sure that there is some specific thing you have to contact. I don't know if that was in the article or not. I will look. If it is, I'll put it in the show notes. Otherwise, I'll take a look for it too. But yeah, so no mattress firms. See, nobody's seen any of these mattress firms. Nobody.
What's the average person who actually buys from mattress firm? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even honestly know how they're still in business. At least by me, like I never see them packed with people or Like I feel like mattresses is a very longevity thing that like it takes years for you to buy another one. So it's not like I have to go buy a carton of milk. Like
maybe their idea was like, hey, this is the only way we can compete on like the purple type mattresses. I think that was what Michelle said by compartmentalized. She meant like the rectangular boxes. They still weigh about 100 pounds or plus, but you got to throw that thing over your shoulder. But I think that's their only way to compete with like Amazon for that day delivery. Because otherwise, even Mattress Firm has their own delivery trucks for their real furniture. Not that a purple mattress isn't awesome. I don't have one. You guys have heard they're great. I don't know much about them. They're expensive. I know that for a thing that comes in a box. And when you unwrap it, it inflates and becomes your mattress. Yeah. So, I don't know. I really don't. I do know Tom put something up here. What is this?
Oh, no, that's nothing. Sorry. I forgot to quit sharing.
Looked like a summons for court.
No, but I did get picked for jury duty. Yay me.
Fun times.
I did too, but like I've said before, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie. It's an old movie. I'm going to date myself here, but it's got John. It's like one of John Cusack's first one. I can't even remember, but I remember the scene in the beginning with the mailman. He's like walking down the road listening to Zeppelin or something. He's just dropping mail over his shoulder as he's going. He's just like such a mess. I got one for jury duty too, but it said that it was 2 weeks prior, the day I opened it. Like my mailman is the worst.
So did you miss it?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you miss it here.
Oh, okay.
They don't care. They're just like, okay, move on to the next people. You're supposed to call. You can call and get out of it all the time.
Really?
Yeah. It has a number on there. Like if you can't do these dates or, because they really don't want the people coming in who are just going to go, okay, well, what do you want to not hear so that I can't be on this?
I was almost on a jury like a week before a pandemic and I got like dismissed. It was down to like the last like 25 people. And I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, here's Cody saying the same thing. He needs one, and he's like, he's not going to go there. And if you did go to Mattress Firm, you're not going to get it through DoorDash. Fact. You're going to go look at Mattress Firm, and you're going to compare it to Amazon in there, not online pricing, and then go DoorDash. Just get it for me and get me some chicken on the way too.
There are certain things in life that I understand ordering online. I'm not, at least for me, I'm not going to buy a mattress that I haven't like felt it, pressed on it, and gone too soft, too hard. Whatever I do or don't like about. I mean, I don't understand how anybody would just, yeah, okay, order online.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I guess it depends also on the generation though, because like I think the younger ones, they really don't care. Like,
I guess like to your point though, like maybe I'm old and I'm old school, but like I ran department stores, so I ran furniture departments. Like it's just something you go and you lay on to see if it's firm, is it soft, is it good for your back? Because like there's like you have to figure out before you make a purchase, because like it has a lot to do with your sleeping and your back alignment. Like there's a lot to do.
But let us all not forget the pandemic. If you wanted a mattress in the pandemic, you had to get the box thing out of Amazon.
But were you worried about a mattress during the pandemic?
I don't know. People were getting pandemic checks. So they're like, dude, finally I can get that new mattress. Oh, wait, I can't go anywhere. I guess I'll just get one of these purple box things. I guarantee you there's a spike in those box mattress sales when the pandemic hit.
Well, there was that. It's like a movable couch thing for children. I don't remember what it was called, but it was super popular during the pandemic because people were like, our children are home, and it's huge. Like it takes up a lot of space, but they could put it like a triangle and then have a part that's like laying down, so they can make like an obstacle course with it. It was huge. Like every mommy group was talking about it. It was back ordered and everything, and it came in a box.
Yeah. So, I mean, the pandemic changed a lot of businesses overnight. Like
it did.
I mean, the 3M was sitting around going, how are you ever going to get rid of these masks? And then the pandemic hit, and there's like, oh my God, we sold out. But anybody else got anything left for this week? Because we're going to wind it down because we're at the top of the hour. Kim, you got anything? Cheyenne, Tom, you got any words of wisdom or last things we should talk about?
No, go make your money.
Isn't Thanksgiving coming up for you guys?
Yeah, end of November.
So,
which is also weird because I always thought it was the third Thursday of November, but it's the fourth this year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's always the fourth.
So next week we can give some tips on doing deliveries for Thanksgiving.
Shit, or do you mean me looking up? Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you guys do deliver a treat, you can't put a real squirrel in it because you're just like, how would I do that? Well, find a dead one and shove it in there.
Gosh, no.
Well, teach them a lesson.
I've got plenty. You guys know I put these videos together just like that. I've got plenty of shooting the squirrel videos that are really pretty funny. So,
yeah. Or put a little camera in it, even a fake one. Just put it in the tree that doesn't even have anything connected, just to scare them. Like, dude, what's that lens? I'm just saying, nobody should be ordering their tree off DoorDash. If you are, exercise, walk to your front door and back and think it through. Or get a fake tree. I mean, I don't know. I really don't have anything to say on that.
Well, the thing is, now they can do everything. They can order a tree through Uber. They can order from Walmart all the, the bulbs and the ornaments and all the lights and everything else that you need. So you go to Walmart, do that, get your dinner while you're at it. You get like full service going to your house.
Can you tip bait?
With no tip.
Imagine.
Somebody sees like this $100 tip on. They're like, you know what? I was never going to do this tree thing, but I'll do it. They do it on Uber. They get like $3.
Oh my goodness, that would be bad. That would be really bad.
What about New York City? All the people who do like scooters and bikes, how would they do it there?
I'm assuming it's not on their account. Like they wouldn't get those orders.
Maybe they could let the 75% of the rideshare drivers they laid off do those. I don't know. Tom, am I supposed to share that other picture? No, right?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna.
I'm sorry. I keep forgetting to.
There. Oops.
Oh, I got rid of Tom.
I just kicked his extra screen. I didn't do that. He's gonna be pissed.
Sorry, Tom. It wasn't me. It was.
He'll be back if he's not. Oh shit, Tom, I love you. You know that, dude. You're my guy. You guys, if you are up for a little bit, in about 10 minutes, I am going to be the first guest on the first episode of Gig Geezer's whatever it's called. I can't remember now. I forgot. What is it called, China? Because you were related. We won't relate it to it, but what was it?
What?
Oh, you were relating it to somebody's.
Oh, there's Tom.
Me off.
I kicked the other one. It booted you. But you guys go over to Geezer's channel. It starts here just shortly. It's his podcast. He's going to start it weekly now. He has a lot of background in news and all that stuff. He's been on here before with us. He's been on Last Mile with me. Good guy, and he definitely has a knack for this kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting. So come over and check it out. But that said, everybody, thank you for joining us this week. It was fun to have just kind of a lighthearted one. But it did suck to have to start off with the same thing we ended with last week, which is Uber Teen. And if you look, I don't care if I don't ever try and say, just don't do this. But on this one, I've always been an advocate for it. So just don't do it. Don't allow your kids in it. Don't drive them. Don't do anything. Don't touch this thing. It is toxic as hell. And even if they did, it wouldn't matter. Just don't do it. They don't have your back anyway. They're going to dump you. You're going to be, if you get in any kind of situation, you're going to be screwed for the rest of your life. And I don't think I'm over dramatizing. So with that said, that's a wrap for the week. Thank you all for joining us tonight, or on the replay or on the audio podcast. And until next Thursday, be safe, earn smart, and Kim.
Kindness is always free.
Always. Good night, guys.
Night.
She a driver slapping at the tempo, playing